Should you sell your HDB to buy 2 private properties? I just came back from a private client meeting of mine and he asked the same question because he's seen the same adverts as you, which is run by property agents, which is if you sell your HDB with a household income of 6,000-7,000, you can actually upgrade to 2 condos and yet have cash surplus, and that is ridiculous. And I want you to avoid such financial mistakes because this is going to be a burden if you don't handle mortgage properly. And towards the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you how I actually own my condo with $1,000.92 per month. So stay on to the end, I'll give you a link for that. And without further ado, let's head out for the rest of filming. It's much more conducive. I'll see you up there. Okay, now I'm back. So I actually play the role of the person doing the advertisement, which is the property agent. So you will see over here a real example of how it's actually being worked. So assuming this couple, Sam and Susan, they own a 4-room HDB, brand new, just MOP HDB that is worth 650,000. So what happens is, in this case, which I'll actually pull up over here in a quick chart, the loan is paid off first, of course. 650,000 pays off, 250,000 remaining loan. Then the CPF is refunded. CPF plus accrued interest is refunded to Sam and Susan. Let's put a number to it, which is 150,000 and $100,000 to it. And lastly, what is being paid out is in cash, $150,000 in cash. And 150,000 is quite a large amount. And if you have always wondered how to buy 2 private properties but you don't have enough cash, this might be the bait, this might be the hook that actually gets you in, because this amount looks a lot. This amount actually comes out from selling the house itself. So this is important to feed on for the following parts of the case study. Okay, then in this case study, they always like to draw it out how much, but I can only put it up over here. Sam and Susan actually earn $7,000 and $5,500 respectively. Now, inside both their accounts, let's put in an arbitrary number, a 50,000 remaining in their CPF OA accounts. And what I want to show you quickly, just in case it fits your scenario, is that the new total CPF OA inside Sam is 200,000 and the new total inside CPF OA for Susan is $150,000. Of course, that's how we mentioned they have 150,000 remaining in cash, and that's going to be really useful because assuming Sam has that 100,000, Susan has that 50,000, that's important to calculate the loan amounts. I'll quickly show you over here from Property Guru's mortgage calculator, and these figures are absolutely correct because they factor in not only your principal, your capital amount that you have, they also factor in your income. And we put in certain assumptions that there's no car loan, there's no other credit card loans that's outstanding, so that we can get a maximum amount that is being loaned. So if you want to be a savvy investor, if you want to be really getting a property, you really need to know the numbers. You really need to try out these calculators to know exactly how much you can loan. And in this example over here, also factoring the TDSR, sorry, before we get too far, TDSR means your total loans cannot be more than 60%. So these calculators actually help you get exact figures. So when it comes to Sam, when you input these figures, I'll pull up the quick chart over here, you realize that he can afford a $1.073 million house. And for Susan, which I'll pull up over here, she can afford a $721,000 investment property that will bring them some passive income and reduce all this cash outflow burden that they might have. So the idea is for Sam to buy a 3-bedder private property for their family, and for Susan to buy a 1-bedder investment property. So just in case you're thinking it's not doable, I'll show you exactly if you are in this circumstance. You can buy actually a $1 million 3-bedder private property. I have some examples that I quickly searched for you just in case you're skeptical about it. And also you're actually able to find a $700,000 1-bedder investment property, and I pull up a quick chart over here to show you it's absolutely possible. Now that you understand it's possible, I'd like to invite you to smash on the like button below so that we can reach more Singaporeans out there and help them understand a bit better on this question. Can you actually sell your HDB and buy 2 private properties? So back to the question. To afford this 3-bedder homestay, what it needs is actually 25% in down payment, correct? But actually of this 25%, only 5% needs to be paid in cash, which Sam can clearly afford now after selling off the HDB. And at an interest rate of 2% for 25 years, Sam can actually just outlay $3,179 per month to afford this 3-bedder homestay. So of course he has certain CPF coming in, so net cash outlay is $1,919. So what about for Susan that you see over here? Susan's house also requires 5% in cash, which she can clearly afford, and then at a 2% interest rate, which I'll show you over here, the monthly outflow is $2,225 of this $525,000 loan. So of this amount, there's of course CPF OAs that's coming in, just like you, just like for her in this situation. And what you'll see over here, that There's also another rent factor being factored in typically in a description, a $2,400 in terms of rent income. And I was curious also, is it possible for one bedder, 700,000 to net 2,400? And I actually done some research, I'll show you here. It's possible, but a bit optimistic maybe. But nonetheless, that makes it a net cash. Net cash means after deducting for mortgage, the net cash inflow is 1,330. So between the couple, fantastic. The net cash outflow is a mere $589 per month to stay in a 3-room private property and have an investment asset that theoretically can appreciate over time in value and develop more wealth for the couple. This part is important for you to know because the next part of being shown is actually the difference in performance between the HDB and the private property itself. So over here, the index shows real data. This is the clear trend. There is the difference between a private property and a HDB, and why you need to convert your HDB to a private property, and this investment asset, this one bedder, is going to appreciate over time and make you wealthy. Now, all seems rosy, correct? A 3-bedder private property instead of HDB house, and then an investment property that will appreciate in value. But that's where actual real financial planning comes in. That's the real source of what I actually do on a day-to-day basis with my private clients. I'll rewind a bit over here so you can see the holes that I'm going to poke in terms of this concept. Let's rewind. Okay, so if you look back at the previous discussion, there was no mention on conservancy charges at all. If you ask any private property investor, a 3-bedder private property, especially if it's older, it's going to cost you at least $400 per month in terms of conservancy charges. Then the next part, for the investment property, this amount is never collected from tenants, and this amount for 1-bedder new private property might be $200 or $250. So let's put that figure in, and you realize that the net cash outflow is not $589, it's now $1,239 per month. Of course, that's not the end of the story. There's more holes, more problems that I'll highlight. Do you realize that the discussion was based on a 2% interest rate? And if you step it up to 3%, how much more does it cost for the couple? I've done the homework for you. You can see over here, it's $643 more per month. When interest rate rises from 2% to 3%, just a mere 1% more increment, and you need to pay $643 more per month. Are you ready for it? And the real reason is because now the total loan amount is $1.2 to $1.3 million. This couple is now so leveraged, such that a mere 1% in terms of interest rate is going to cost $643 more. Imagine the interest rate goes up another 0.5% or another 1%. How much more cash outflow is that going to be? And then further, there's more holes to poke at it. Property tax based on residential, based on investment property is not even factored in at all. And from personal experience, I'll just shortcut that process for you. It's going to cost roughly about $150 more per month. If you're not familiar, I'll leave in the links below how to calculate actually your property tax. And when it comes to investment property, that amount is going to be higher than a residential property itself. So this extra $150 is going to eat into the couple's cash flow itself. And that's not all, sorry. There's also income tax that needs to be factored in. You remember the wife, Susan, actually now owns this 1-bedder private property. Investment income from property is chargeable in the income tax level. And let's assume it's 7%. That amount is going to be $142 more to add on to a net cash outflow for the couple itself. What is the final figure? Do you like to leave in the comment sections below? That final figure now is a new total of $2,374 more on a monthly basis. That much more that is not mentioned in a simple description, in a simple advertisement. Have you gotten the real gist of it? Maybe as a financial planner, I'm quite cautious. I'm quite preparing for worst case situations. And even those situations still seem rosy, those situations can still be worse. And the last part that will really drill the nail into the coffin is actually this portion, which is the rent of $2,400. What if that private property, that investment property is not rented out? What happens to the cash flow? Have you ever considered? This amount is going to add an additional $2,400 back into the net cash outflow that a couple is experiencing, and the total is $4,774 per month basis for a couple that's earning a mere $12,000 plus. A $4,774 in terms of cash outflow, that is ridiculous. That is not going to be sustainable, and that is not financially prudent, and that is something that I would not advocate for any private client of mine. If someone needs to hear this message, share this video with them because this is going to really enlighten them. I'd like to invite you to click on the subscribe button below so that you get notified whenever I release a video for you on a financial topic and join our community to be more financially savvy. And the main thing is, leave in the comment sections, what do you think is the average income for a household that's staying in a private property? What is their average household income? Leave in the comment sections below, because I'll be revealing that figure to you. And this figure is actually correct. It's from the government itself. It's a survey by government, and you'll see over here that figure is $20,593. Keep that in mind. Someone who is savvy, someone who is not over leveraged, a household income is at this range. Versus in that situation which we discussed, the couple may be over leveraged. Upgrading is not an issue. Selling a HDB and buying a private 3-bedder property is not an issue. I'm fine with that. I would actually suggest that's okay. That is a good lifestyle to have. But when it comes to financial planning, there's a few things that you need to be prudent on. The first is to not assume that your income will not decline. You can get retrenched, you can face certain challenges in your industry, and your income might start to drop, especially when you get to an older age. And the second factor when it comes to proper financial planning is actually this: do not assume that your health will not decline. Health is something that, when we are all healthy, when you are healthy, you might take it for granted. But if your health decline, your income is going to suffer, and your expenses in the medical sense actually starts climbing up, and you don't want to have a huge mortgage burden to be holding on to. So that's the real message for today. I hope this sharing really benefits you. I hope this sharing enlightens you to know more about this upgrading process, selling your HDB, buy 2 private properties, and you'll be a lot more savvy with it. As mentioned at the start of the video, I've actually this link over here, which is to show you that how I actually bought my private property, and my monthly expense is only $1,093 per month. That's because I fully own the HDB itself, and that has no liability to it. It's purely a cash flow that's coming in from there. So without rent, with rent, there's no liability, there's no outflows to that second property itself. That's a key difference. And look for that video. That's going to help you understand a lot better. I'll see you there. Take care and goodbye.